Illinois gets their first Big Ten win of the season. Huge bounce back spot, if you can even call it a bounce back spot. It was a come together spot. Sky Clark left the program. We did about an hour of an emergency reaction to Sky Clark leaving the program live from my parents' basement. You can watch that on our channel. Some controversial things were said in that episode. Some controversial things were said by yours truly. I can understand why Illinois fans might not agree with it. And we can circle back and talk about a little bit of that here in a minute. But first, a 10-point win and a cover at home against Wisconsin in a really, really big spot without one freshman point guard for Illinois. So did they get back on track here, Card? Are you optimistic on the Illini now?
I mean, there was a lot, I think, that went kind of in their favor for this game. I feel like a lot of teams get like that new coach, or like a situation where they get a new coach and they get like kind of that bump, or a player goes out and they kind of, rally and, come together, I guess, in a sense. But I mean, this was a home game for them against Wisconsin without one of their better players in Tyler Wall. And I mean, it was a game they were favored in by 7 points, I believe. So,
Mm-hmm.
it was a game that they should have won. But now, with all that said, it's definitely a good win, and winning can deter people from talking about everything else that's going on with the program. So, I mean, I wouldn't say back on track, but I guess step in the right direction. A good thing that happened to them by getting a win, because it was already at a pretty volatile point, I feel like. So if they would have lost this basketball game and found themselves at what, 0-4 in the Big Ten,
Yeah.
it would have been some nasty business.
Yeah, I would have been on Amazon procuring the nicest fork that I can find to stick in Illinois basketball had they lost that one. I think Tyler Wall is Wisconsin's best player. Just to like, I think that it starts there. Like, this wasn't just like, oh, Wisconsin's down a guy. It was down their most important guy, in my opinion. You can make an argument for Hepburn over him, but I mean, Wall just does everything for this team, like from scoring to facilitating to defending to rebounding, and he does it quietly. Like, he does it in the flow of the action as opposed to trying to dial everything up for him. You and I have always been big fans of his game. Totally different team without him, in my opinion. And even with him, I think I've tricked myself with Wisconsin a little bit. Like, they are a pretty low on talent basketball team that has scrounged together wins in games you don't expect them to all season long with Tyler Wall. Without Tyler Wall, it just becomes even harder to do that. And that's the total inverse of Illinois. Illinois is this super talented basketball team that all season long has not found ways to win basketball games, except for in the first month, which again makes them very polarizing. It's not like Illinois has been bad all season. They had two of the best wins in the country in the non-conference, and then it fell apart on themselves. So, yeah, I don't know. We were at the Michigan State game, clearly, so I had to just go back and watch highlights of this game instead of seeing it in real time. We were kind of monitoring the score. But from watching the highlights of this game, it appears to me that Coleman Hawkins had one of his best games of his career in an Illini uniform, and the stats back that up. Terrence Shannon was also pretty brilliant in this game. The two of them combined 14 for 22 from the floor. I mean, just super efficient. Two guys getting 20. And it's your two guys who have sort of no-showed at times in losses. So if they can they're not going to shoot like that every game, but if in light of losing a point guard, those two can get back on track and be efficient, high-volume scorers, I think that's what Illinois needs. Sincere Harris is starting. He's been starting for a few games now. I know Illinois fans love him. I think we like him. Like, we like his game, right? We've never really talked about it, but we think he's like a winning type player. But should he be starting on this team?
No, I think in a perfect world for Sincere, it would be. And obviously, let me start my statement by stating this: I am a fan of his game, along with like what you said with Illinois fans. I'm a big fan of his game and kind of what he can be down the road. But I think a really good team, a team that's competing for Big Ten titles, has a player like Sincere Harris as a freshman coming off the bench and providing a spark, not being a starter, high minute guy on the team.
Why is he starting over Epps?
Maybe just because Epps' role just as kind of like a guy just to come off the bench and get buckets. That's the only thing I could think about.
I guess
Because
I
because if it was me, I would have Harris coming off as an off the bench energy guy. But I guess it works with Epps coming off the bench and just kind of being a scorer.
yeah, I guess I'd like Illinois fans to explain that. I sort of have theorized that Epps was just coming off the bench to keep Sky Clark happy. But if Sky Clark's not here, you don't need to do that anymore, right? Like just play the point guard who can score. What are we doing? I don't know. He's still, I mean, Epps played 29 minutes in this game. Sincere Harris played 15. But it feels like Brad continues to do odd things with lineups with this team. Like I wanted Dane Dange in. He finally decided to get him in. I think Dane's been fine. Dane didn't do a lot in this game, but I don't know. I still feel like we're getting cute with lineup shit that I don't know why. Like Epps is a top 4 player on this team, right?
Yeah,
Pretty clearly. So
I
now
mean, as the team stands, I mean, shit. That's their only point guard.
yeah, right. There's no other point guard. So I don't know. I'm confused by it all. That's why we got to go to Champaign and figure it out for ourselves.
We'll be there.
We will be there.
We want answers.
We are coming to Champaign Friday for Michigan State at Illinois. It's TBD what exactly Carter Elliott's rooting interest will be in that game. I guess it's not TBD. You're going to be rooting for Michigan State, but
I'm going to be a media member.
you did say word for word that we are coming to fix Illini basketball. Yes. So that is the mission. Although I think Illinois, it would have been nicer from a narrative perspective if they didn't beat Wisconsin, so we could truly say we're there to fix it. But, I'm happy for it. The one step in the right direction. We can say they're officially back if they get a convincing win against Michigan State and the sleepers are in the building for it.
That's who we are as people and content creators. We don't just stand by. If things need to be fixed and we need to be there, damn it, we find a way to get there.
The other thing we do is we take credit for things we didn't do. So, like, Illinois may already be back, but if we're in the building and they're decent on Friday, we made them back.
They also don't win that game against Wisconsin if we don't air everything out the night before in your parents' basement.
That's extremely true.
We laid everything out there.
Extremely true. Did you listen back to that episode, by the way? I know we don't always listen to things we put out, but that one seemed like one we might want to listen back to.
I actually did not. I just kind of been monitoring the comments. Is it something I need to listen back to?
It might be a fun listen. It might be a fun listen if you're going to the gym or something today. It's a decent listen. I was a little harsh on Trent Frazier. That's what I'll say. I stand by.
I remember you. I do remember saying in the moment that you talking a little bad about Trent.
I stand by everything I said in that, including the Trent Frazier comments. But I am willing to admit that the Trent Frazier one was a little harsh, potentially unnecessary. It may be what I personally believe, but there was not really necessarily a need to go criticize a career 11 points a game scorer that Illini fans love. I don't know. He shouldn't be thrown in the Kofi Io conversation. That's where I got upset. Like, he's a good program guy. Very great program guy.
Probably one of the best Illinois program guys of all time.
It says more about the program than it does Trent Frazier. But now here, I'm digging further.
The animosity and lashing out to Illini Nation as lately, I'm attesting some of it to the 0-4 or Big Ten start. I know that was taking its toll on you and us as a podcast, but they got the win. So
they got the win. You're right. Positivity. Trent Frazier is a first team All Big Ten teammate.
100%. Trent Frazier is Brandon Jennings with a notepad.
Trent Frazier guards better than Brandon Jennings, though. See, I can say nice things about Trent Frazier. I just he's a career 39% shooter that averaged 11 a game in 5 years. And you want to mention among Big Ten Player of the Year guys?
I don't want anything.
Great teammate, great role player. That's all, Illini. It's okay. It's okay to say that. Okay. I you know what? I'm even biting my tongue. This is progression, Cart. I have a mean joke to make at Illinois' expense, and I'm not going to make it. That's growth right there.
Can you text me the joke?
I'll text you the joke momentarily. And now I'm going to spend the next 4 days preparing myself to be a full-blown Illini fan Friday, and I can't wait. We have to beat Michigan State in this spot.
And we want to see everybody too. Like, hit us up.
Yeah, we'll send out some plans. All right, Cart. Illini back?
Illini.
Not till we get there.
Yeah, we got to see it for ourselves.
Okay. TBD.
We'll have a decision at that point.
Sounds good. Stay tuned.